I'm Lars from EEGer, and today we're talking about the replay session feature in the EEGer Neurofeedback software. Replay is one of EEGer's most powerful tools for clinicians. We're starting with this one because if you're unfamiliar with EEGer, it is the fastest way for you to get a glimpse into why people are so passionate about this software. I'll describe downloading and installing EEGer for free in another video soon. Okay, jumping into it, I have EEGer open here, and I'm going to choose a client already on the system. I do that by clicking this button, Select Client. This client, labeled EEG Demonstration, is already in there with a number of sample sessions right when you install EEGer. You'll notice that there are 3 categories here of this client. These are called protocol classes, and we'll talk about that in another video. So you can double-click with your left mouse button or select it and hit OK. So after we choose the client, we see it appear on the main screen. Here you would see the client's name, the protocol class, and the kind of layout. To protect client confidentiality, you can obscure this information by changing a setting in the configuration options, which we'll also come back to in another video. Now we want to do a replay. Click on this button all the way on the right. As you start seeing clients, for each one you'll see a list of their sessions in this protocol class. For EEG demo, we see what we call the artifact library. These are sessions you can look at to learn to recognize different EEG patterns. For example, this one here is what someone chewing looks like. This will help you get better at understanding the EEG, what creates artifacts, and what they look like. Okay, we'll cancel out of this and start from the main screen again, choosing replay. And now we're going to choose this one, 2-channel data. Again, double click or select it and click OK. Once you've chosen the session you want to replay, next you're asked what game you want to use. Now since this is a replay, it doesn't really matter. For live neurofeedback sessions, of course, you'll want to choose a game that the client responds to that seems to be working well for their feedback. I have a bunch of games here on my system. If you've just started, you'll probably have the default Core 11. So you pick a game, and then here you are on the wave screen. I'll tell you all about the wave screen in another of these. For now, notice that it says pause in the lower left. You can run the replay data by hitting your function key F5, and then the yellow pause becomes run. If you aren't hearing beeps, hit another function key F11, which triggers the auto thresholding function. You'll start to hear some beeps. You can customize how this works in the plan session screen. We'll talk about all this and more over the next few weeks. But now you've seen EEGer's powerful replay session function. We've just looked at the sample data. Once you're running live sessions, you'll have more choices. And because EEGer diligently records not just the session data, but the key presses used by the clinician in the live session, you can play this all back later. After you've completed a session with your client, you can literally replay the entire session exactly as it happened. This is more than just watching a recording. You're seeing the actual signals that were acquired by an amplifier of a person's brain waves, along with the filter bands, the artifacts, thresholds, and response to feedback. You can pause and look at the data, make changes in the replay, and analyze specific sections that caught your attention. Then you can go back and do it all over again. Replay the session again to see how the recorded data responds to changes in the thresholds. Of course, you aren't actually changing the recorded data, but there are still things to identify and things to learn. What makes this feature invaluable is that you can spot patterns or events you might have missed during the live session. Maybe there was a sudden artifact, or perhaps your client had an exceptional training moment. Replay lets you study these closely so you can decide how to adjust the protocol. And for beginning users, we draw attention to this feature because besides the artifact library, you can use replay to get better at making changes to a session on the fly without your client sitting right there in front of you. So it takes a little of the pressure off your learning process. So that's the EEGer replay session feature. Please like this video. Let me know what you want to see, if you want to see more like this, and let me know in the comments what you want to hear about.